$4. The video camera.
Yeah, text you.
I call this meeting to order at 2:30. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Without objection, I call for the agenda to stand as orders of the day. Everybody just take a chance to look over the agenda. Okay, and now the secretary will call roll.
Yes, Madam President, we have 6 officers, 5 legislators, 1 advisor, and 7 guests.
Thank you. We will now review the minutes from our last meeting. Are there any corrections to the minutes?
Yes, point of clarification. On the agenda, what we looked over before, we did the approval of agenda before the roll call, so that should be.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any more corrections to the minutes? And the minutes stand approved as read. Next we'll proceed with committee reports. I'll start with issues and concerns. We did have an issues and concerns meeting last Wednesday. Very low attendance. I'll just leave it at that. But we're in the process of forming teams for issues and concerns. So if you're interested in joining the issues and concerns committee, please come out. The meetings are every other Wednesday. So next Wednesday we'll have an issues and concerns meeting at 2:30 in room 14. And basically, issues and concerns, we take on the issues and concerns of the students, and we try to solve those problems to the best of our ability. And the way that I'm doing the committee this semester is that we're going to make teams and take on separate issues. There's a question on the floor.
A lot of information from 2:30.
Usually, I mean, and we haven't really been having a lot of people, so the meetings have only been like 30 minutes, maybe. And generally, they'll as we go along, the meetings will more so be checkpoints because there'll be teams working on different issues. So the meetings will just be to check up on how's the progress of that particular issue. So next, we'll hear from the activities committee from Madam Vice President.
Good afternoon, everyone. Madam President. For the activities, we had a planning session for the fashion show. We kind of like, it's like a mini committee from the activities committee to plan, because we don't want everybody in the committee, because too many people in a committee tend to like make everything go crazy. So we have a little committee for the fashion show, and we had a meeting last week, Thursday. We haven't had much development on that, and any information I have, I'm going to pass to Mr. D, then I'll let you guys know whenever. Then we have a pizza night next week, Tuesday, at in front of the activities office at 5:30. But we need to set up like around 4 or 4:30 for the event. Then there's an activities meeting tomorrow at 2:30. And we have a leadership training on Friday at 1:45. And that's supposed to be compulsory for all SGA members. Then there's a bowling tournament that Cotrack sent me an information for. I'll let you guys know when I have better information on that.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. Now we'll hear a report from the Budget Committee from our treasurer.
Thank you, Madam President. As of right now, our proposed budget is still $65,000, and we have had a couple of events which has taken away from that, but until we can get a firm numbers for our budget, then we're still going to propose $65,000.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. Now we'll hear from the Publicity Committee from our parliamentarian.
Thank you, Madam President, General Counsel. Let me see, the biggest thing I want to say is I still need people to join my street team. Meet with me after this meeting, and so I can get your emails and we can see when we can get that together. Let's see. Other than that, I really don't think there's anything. So just check your emails after I get them, get your email addresses in.
And today, our Sergeant at Arms is not here right now, so we won't have a report from the volunteer operation. We'll now proceed with unfinished business. There's been a development since the agenda was made. The secretary position is open again, so if anyone is interested in running for secretary, get with me. Just get with me and let me know about, why you'd like to be secretary. You are going to have to submit a platform to Mr. D, but just get with me and let me know that you're interested in running for secretary. Okay, so there's no more unfinished business. We'll move into new business. And we do have an induction today, so. You can just raise your right hand and repeat after me. I pledge to uphold
I pledge to uphold
the Student Government Association's Constitution
the Student Government Association's Constitution
and bylaws
and bylaws
and act in the best interest of students
and act in the best interest of students
in Fayetteville Technical Community College.
at Fayetteville Technical Community College.
Are there any motions to be brought to the floor?
Yes. Madam President, I move that the SGA allot $401.92 to be used for the cost of tote bags and ink pens with the SGA logo on them to use in the promotion of the SGA.
Okay. There's a motion on the floor that reads, I, Catherine Jones, move that the SGA allot $401.92 to be used for the cost of tote bags and ink pens with the SGA logo on them to be used in the promotion of the SGA. Do I have a second for this motion? Okay. Motion is seconded by Carnella Fogg. And I'll open the floor for just a brief explanation about the totes and the ink pens and why we want them. So, Kathy, just.
Yes, Madam President. What we're doing is we're getting some ink pens that have the SGA logos and some tote bags for our SGA members to carry so that we can help in the promotion and letting the student body know that SGA is on campus and hopefully we get more people involved.
All right, thank you. So I will now move this motion into a vote. All in favor? And everyone should have a voting card. If you have a binder, you have a voting card in there. opposed? And are there any abstentions? Okay. This motion passes with 10 in favor, 0 opposed, and 0 abstentions. Are there any more motions to be brought to the floor? Alright, so now we will move into announcements. The executive board has decided that the leadership workshop that's going to be held this Friday and next Friday, all SGA members are expected to attend. So make provisions for this Friday or next Friday to come at 1:45. If you're absolutely unable to attend, maybe if you have class during that time, get with our Sergeant at Arms, Tracy Ann, and let her know that you're going to be unable to attend. And try to let her know by Thursday. So you have tomorrow, let her know by tomorrow if you can't make it. And if you were planning for the next Friday, then let her know by next Thursday that you're going to be able to make it. Okay, so just mark that on your calendars. Also, the next announcement is that the executive board has decided that all SGA members are required to join one committee. So there's going to be a sign-up sheet going around for the committees. Decide which one you wanna commit to. And the fortunate thing about this semester is that we're kind of we're trying to be a little bit more flexible with the committees. So we're forming teams within each committee. So it'll be more important for you to make sure that you're meeting with your team members. And say you can't make the meetings. If you're meeting with your team members, then progress is still being made. So please join. The choices are the Issues and Concerns Committee, the Publicity Committee, and the Activities Committee. So the sign-up sheet is going around. Pick one. If you want to join 2 or all 3, that's fine. Just sign up on the sheet. The next announcement is that the SGA has been invited to the City Council, the Fayetteville City Council meeting. So we'll be in attendance on Monday, this coming Monday, the 24th, at 7 p.m. So if you want to go to that, there's a sign-up sheet for that also, so we can have a count of how many people will be there. The next announcement is that we will have a pizza night next Tuesday, and it starts at on your agenda it says 6:30, but note that it's actually going to start at 5:30. Setup will begin around 4:30, so come around 4:30. If you're going to help serve, then be there by 5:30. And then the next announcement is that the SGA office schedule, all SGA members are required to put in 2 hours a week. Stop by the office and look at the schedule. If your name's not on the schedule, please let us know so that we can add you to the schedule. We took up everyone's availability. If we don't have your availability, let me know so we can get your availability and fit you into the schedule. So those are the announcements for today. And next week we'll move into our advisor remarks from Mr. Daniels.
Well, thank you, Madam President. I appreciate you only taking 15 minutes because I've got about 30 minutes of discussion to do. Not really. One of the things I want to express a little bit of concern on my part about it has to deal with our event participation, participation by students, participation by faculty and staff members. Part of the responsibility for Student Activities Office is to try and add some additional educational opportunities for students that are beyond the classroom. I mean, what you learn in the class is very important. I mean, that's why you're here. But a collegiate education involves a lot more than that. And that's why extra events are scheduled. That's why students are involved in clubs and fraternities or sororities and other colleges. I mean, because there are some life skills that need to be acquired beyond what you learn just in the classroom. And one of the things that we attempt to do is try to provide some of those enrichment activities that the average student may not go out and seek on their own. Very often they have no awareness of it. And so that's kind of my responsibility to offer some of those. And also, you know, have been chairing the Global Education Committee for the last 2 years. This year, I decided to step down a little bit. I'm just the vice chair, but again, our responsibility as Global Education Committee for the college is, you know, again, to offer those kinds of activities that will help our students expand their awareness of global issues, and whether it's in commerce, politics, you know, whole gamut of international events. And having said all that, kind of preface my comments with that, we're just not getting participation I think we should, you know, on campus. And tomorrow I'm going to be meeting with the Associate Vice President of Curriculum, Mr. William Griffin, and the 4 deans tomorrow morning to talk with them about what we can do to get more student involvement on campus and our faculty and staff. And I realize that they have the syllabus is set up for, you know, for each course. Certain content has to be covered because you're going to be tested on it. And based on the filings that we've made with Department of Education in the state of North Carolina and all that, we have to teach. I mean, there's a minimal body of content that we have to teach for those courses, or otherwise, you know, we're not fulfilling our mission as a college. But I know there's wiggle room in all those. I mean, maybe in nursing and a few others programs there might be, those things are very tight. But on the whole, there's a lot of wiggle room. And so I just don't think we are getting all the, well, we're just not getting the cooperation that we need from everybody. And so that is one thing I'm going to be doing. One thing that I can do is to meet with them because they have the power to make some changes. One thing I'm going to ask from the SGA and certainly the Activities Committee and also the parliamentarian is we have got to be more intentional about publicizing and marketing these events. And I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes, but to give you an example, we had a very fine Latin American music group here this week on Monday. They did an educational session during the daytime, did a great concert Monday night. Probably 4, 5, 6 of you were there for that. But the attendance was very poor. I mean, it's one of the poorest I've seen, about 50 people. Now, part of that was external. We didn't get hardly any public attendance. The Fayetteville Observer gave just a very paltry mention. They didn't even mention that they were a Latin American music group. So that was on them. But there were some other things that should have been done by this group on campus to make the event more successful, you know, more attendance by students. One of the things you have to get in your minds, okay, is your role as a student legislator. Your role is not just to come to the meetings. You are supposed to be the eyes and ears of the students. I mean, out there, you're in classes with people every day. You need to be listening to people when they complain about things. If you hear somebody complain about it, just, you know, step over and say, "Hi, my name's Joey, and I'm, you know, SGA representative. Can you tell me a little bit more about the problems you're having?" And after you've discussed it with them, you know, get their phone number, get a contact email or something, and say, "Listen, I'll follow up on this." Now, some people are going to complain about everything. There's just some people that are like that, and you can't please them. But I'm talking about the ones that have genuine concerns, okay? So that's part of your responsibility. You're supposed to be, you know, feeding back what's going on out there. I can tell you Dr. Keene is a very smart man, and all the people that are there, vice presidents, our deans, are smart people, but they're busy doing their jobs. They're focused on a lot of paperwork has to get done, a lot of reports get filed at the state, national level, and all sorts of other things. So they're not out there with the students. They're not sitting in the classes with the students. So, you know, that's your responsibility. And as a legislator, that's the responsibility you accepted when you came on board. And if you'll read that pledge, that's exactly what it talks about. So you need, you know, listen to your fellow students and report it back in here. That Issues and Concerns Committee, I mean, it really is the most important committee that we have as the Student Government Association. The activities, they come in second as far as importance. There's a lot of responsibility on the activities committee, a lot of planning has to be done. But the real reason you're here is to deal with student concerns and their needs and their issues. So that's part A of what the responsibility is as a legislator. Part B is to promote the activities that we do. You vote to carry out, whether it's with Tropicante or anything. We've got fall festivals coming up on October 9th. So there needs to be more intentionality regarding the events. We can put up flyers, some people see them, some people don't. I usually send out, and you can probably get some from me, those email blasts that go out to every student. Some people read those, others don't. So we got to do some other things. We bought the sandwich boards to put up, and for Tropicante, I'm going to tell you the one that was across between Cumberland Hall and the library, it never got updated. There was never a poster with Tropicante on there. The only ones that were on there were for 9/11. So that's not being intentional. That's letting things fall through the crack. Did put some flyers in there in the lunchroom. They're doing these little slips that you can hand out to students. I mean, I know you guys are busy. All the students, most of our students are really busy. Sometimes they don't even know what day it is. They're so busy, right? Some of you have been there, kind of know what that's like. So if you can put something in their hands, say, hey, check this group's coming tomorrow. You need to come on out. It's free entertainment. Check it out. Put it in their hand, and maybe they'll hold on to us and, yeah, I like this, I'll take it with me. And it'll remind them, but there's a lot of those details that we can't miss them. Because I really believe part of that was, part of the reason why our attendance was so low. And they were a great group. For those of you who weren't able to come, you missed a really good time. So that's kind of the thing we need to focus on. You need to focus on as legislators. Feedback from students, the concerns and issues that they've got, and then disseminating information about what we're able to do either through activities or things that are going on with the college. One thing that has not been promoted very well, and maybe we need to help this college out, is this fake text. Does anybody know? Raise your hand if you know what fake text is. Okay. It started out as just a way to opt in to get emergency messaging text sent to your phone, and you have to subscribe to it. You're not subscribed automatically like when you get a Gmail account when you become a student. Actually, when you apply as a first admission, you get a Gmail account. The fake text, you have to subscribe. Previously, that's been reserved strictly for emergency notification, whether shooter on campus, whatever it happened to be, robbery. But now they've expanded it, and they're going to use it to let people know about activities, information that students would be interested in getting. They're not getting in a bunch of junk mail kinds of stuff, but so that really hasn't been marketed very well. So that may be something SGA wants to take on as a little project. So that's something we have to work on. There's no option for that. We have to get serious about that. So that's the downside, I guess, or if you're going to say anything a little bit negative. But on the positive side, the 9/11 observance was excellent. Got a huge amount of comments from people that came on campus. Dr. Keene, highly complimentary. He said it was the best one that's been done on campus. And it went really well. SGA got a lot of credit for that. The concert that we had at noon, people that came in really enjoyed it. Got a lot of favorable compliments from some of our faculty and staff. Okay. Then yesterday we had the Constitution Day, which was really not so much your responsibility as it was mine, but it's pretty well attended. Dr. Keene, again, complimented that. I had the good fortune to got a friend from Scotland, this retired British diplomat, who happens to be the clan chief of all the McLarens or the McLaurens, around the world. And we had some pretty lengthy conversations about what's going on in the UK and what's going on in the US, and run up to the election here, and all sorts of issues. We talk about, philosophy of life issues, just stuff that, makes my wife's eyes just glaze over. She doesn't like any of that stuff. She doesn't watch any political shows. I mean, I'm like a junkie from going through CNN and Fox and BBC. I hate commercials, so I'm like, shh. But anyway, we had all these discussions, and during the course of discussion, during the course of our discussions, he said something to me, just like, boom, struck me, because I think it applies to every one of you that's in here. And he made the comment, I've never heard anybody say anything, and I won't get it exactly the way he said it, but he said this, he says, educated persons have a responsibility to lead in society. I've never heard anybody say that. Educated persons have a responsibility to lead in society. Now, why would he say that? Because people who have best educations have something far more than a lot of other members of society. And it's a gift. I mean, you said, well, I'd sure like for them to give me some A's. I'd love that. But, it's hard work. If you get a good education, it is hard work. But it puts you in a group of people that there are very few of in the world. If you, around the world, the percentage of the world population that who has a college education is probably 5% or less, 3 to 5% maybe. And so, I just thought it was important to share that with you, that this former retired British diplomat, who was a diplomat in Georgia, here in Russia, and in the Balkans, here in Eastern Europe, said that you have a responsibility in society to lead as an educated person. So I hope you'll remember that and then kind of act on it. Last little piece I've got to say is it has not been approved by Dr. Brand or Dr. King yet, but I'm hoping to get a woman lecturer. Her name is Dr. Malik. She is a barrister, or an attorney, lawyer in London, but she is a professor of law for the King's College in London, which is a really prestigious university there. And hopefully we're going to be able to get her to come and speak on October 26th. I think that's a Friday. And she is going to speak, don't remember the exact topic, but it's going to involve the discrimination that's been going on against Muslims in the West, probably within the last 10 years, I guess. It's going to be interesting to see, and I think she will address this, the loss of life we had of our diplomat in Libya, and the others, the bodyguards and the others that died. Also the attacks on our embassy in Egypt. We've had an attack on the embassy in China early this morning. There was no serious damage, but it's happening in Yemen. So it's going to be interesting to see how she'll address that, some of their backlash against us, Americans. But her specialty in law is specializes in discrimination against minority groups, and so this lady's a world-class person. She really is. So hopefully that they will approve that, but as soon as we get approval on it, I'll let you know, and then we'll need to make sure we promote it heavily. One last little piece of business, I guess, is Lindsay Benner is a comedian and a juggler, and I think she can probably cook eggs while she's juggling. She's really good. And we've talked about it. I want to get a little bit of some feedback from you. We've done a lot of things in the evening, but some of the stuff, the comedy she does is I think of the name of it, right? The type is this kind of nutty stuff, crazy stuff. Things you see. Well, anybody know who Laurel and Hardy are? Some one person? Thank you. No. But anyway, they did zany stuff, yeah, kind of slapstick stuff. But she does it, hers is kind of like that. So the question, I guess, of the day is, we talk about doing that at lunchtime and either do it in the cafeteria or out in the student center lobby, just because we've got so many people coming through. So I guess is that something you think you would, students would buy into?
I think
Get
it's
one,
second.
get one no, and
Second. One no.
a number of uncertainties on. Okay. Yeah, one thing about, I'm gonna tell you, this activities business is very imprecise. From year to year, you can schedule some things that are just, a big blast, people with huge successes, and then people, you do the same thing, same time, the next semester, the next year, and you don't have the same results, so it is very imprecise. It is? Yeah, what do you?
Lunchtime, most of the people rushing trying to get food, especially if they have a class at like 12. They're trying to get food, so people really not going to pay too much attention to it. People trying to get classmates and turn off the computer, so a lot of people are not doing.
Yeah, I
So
like,
lunch while we're
I see people in the cafeteria.
yeah, that's true, but however, you do have a lot of people that do take their time and don't have classes in the classes, so you do have a majority of people that are just sitting there.
Some colleges have what they call a 0-hour period, and that it might be 11 to 12, or 12 to 1, no classes are scheduled, 0 classes. And that's when the student government, student activities, everything's scheduled in. But unfortunately, we don't have that here. Some other colleges don't either, so it's not just us. But if you do the 11 to 12 or 1 to 2, you're still going to have people in class. So is everybody, on the whole, are you okay with at least trying to do it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we'll do that then. I'll call the agent and just let them know that's what we want to do. And some of the things we may try to do going forward, especially some of the health things and some financial planning kinds of things, we may just do something like lunch and learn, advertise in advance, bring your brown bag, let's sit around and, you can sit there and eat while you're learning something. I know everybody's got a lot of people have tight schedules, so. And that's pretty much what I've got to say. Does anybody have any questions you want to ask me that you can ask in front of us?
Who has the same?
Okay. And for those of you who think maybe that, most of you, but I will extend the invitation if you have a question about anything, you've got a problem that you can't quite don't know how to get solved, and you've got an issue with a faculty member, you haven't been able to get things worked out, you just need some advice or some direction. Most of the time the door is open, if it's closed, then I'm usually either doing a report or I'm not in there. So, no, don't do that. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. B, I was talking to one of the students today, and she was saying how she doesn't like the fact that with financial aid, she says that more people are getting the money and leaving, and whereas people who can't get financial aid are stuck and they can't afford, and like she was supposed to get $6,000 for a loan. They told her that they were cutting back, so she didn't get her loan or whatever, and I was wondering who would I go to about that?
I can tell you, I think a partial answer to that, I mean, there has been a tightening from the Department of Education, because there's billions of dollars that are spent in the United States, for post-secondary education each year. And so there has been a tightening of that, particularly with loans because of, the economic situation. But what happens here on our campus, it does impact certainly some students here, but also every campus. That's the same sort of thing that happens on every campus multiplied times 10,000 colleges and universities, whatever, and you got some big money. Probably the person that you might want to talk with is probably the director, Mrs. Gaddy, G-A-D-D-Y.
Could you email me the contact for that?
You'll have to email me.
Okay.
I can't remember all
and then they cut back like 2,000 to 4,000, like last week. So is there, do you know if there's a
It was
reason?
supposed to come in to federal tax was cut, so the
It
cut.
went like this one.
I think like a month ago, they cut the cost.
But they gave me the, like, the war letter.
Yeah, but it was done after you were awarded, because I think it was the vice president.
They just put it
He
on.
did it, yeah, he cut the amount of money.
I was just wondering about that, because they just.
Oh, you're talking about for the Vice President of Finance? Well,
Yeah,
Dr. Brandon.
Yes.
See, we have to file in the Department of Education, each college or university has to file what's called a cost of attendance. You'll see it on COA, will be listed on there. And it's supposed to be as close as possible to what it actually costs you to attend college. Because I can tell you, if this same college were located in New York City, guess what? It costs a lot more to attend, it costs a lot more to live in New York City. So, those kinds of questions, I have a general understanding of a lot of that, but the specifics, she would be the person. And maybe that's something that needs to be SGA to do, to explain. If there's 3 people in here that had that question, there might be another 3,000 out
Yeah,
there.
I mean, issues and concerns, that's one of our issues and concerns, is having a financial aid workshop. So
Okay.
we're working on it.
So there you go. So for those of you that have a keen interest in that, get involved with that, the issues and concerns. Okay, that's all I have to say, man. Appreciate it. Oh, I'm sorry.
I have a question about promoting the events that you guys have. You know, all those TVs, that's when you have technology, really to bring the advertising, talking about some bicycle or something like this.
Oh,
Why can't you use those?
We
do?
We do.
I've never seen what you want to do.
We had the Matt Curry on that, like, that was in August, right? We had some of the events on that.
and any of your publicity concerns, direct them to Bianca, our parliamentarian, and get with her when you have like any ideas of better ways to promote or different ways to promote. Just get in touch. I think he's running publicity for you too, right?
The closed circuit television system is not working as it should. So there are some issues with that. Typically when Brent Michaels and Wanda Dale are responsible for marketing publicity for the college. And so things are forwarded those things to them. They do press releases and then they're supposed to put it on this closed circuit TV on the marquee out front. And then probably most of you never watched cable channel 5 here in this area, but it is Fable Text channel. And so they'll also put some things on there and they put videos if we supply them. So those are the only things that we can really control. I think information is sent into the Fable Observer, it goes out to the radio stations, TV stations. They can choose to use it or not.
Without objection, I adjourn this meeting at 3:08 p.m. Our next meeting is.
If you signed up for an event, please show up. I'm begging you.